Some British bimbo bypassed the compressor on the speeder and broke the damn thing. Who fucking does that? And all on Space Christmas.
Uh-oh, we better get out of here, BB-8.
Okay, now you keep your eye on this timer and I'll show you a little magic. In exactly 20 seconds, I'm going to make your little sister appear in this kitchen out of nowhere. Now, here's the magic. One whiff of this apples and cinnamon Quaker instant oatmeal would wake up Sleeping Beauty.
I smell apples and cinnamon.
See what I mean? Instant Quaker oatmeal. It's the right thing to do and a tasty way to do it.
Oh, my stars, I've never been so busy before. It seems Christmas arrives sooner each year. Christmas in the stars, Christmas in the stars. What a merry Christmas this will be. Christmas in the stars, out among the stars, lighting up a Christmas tree. Come on, everyone, and sing. Hearts are full of joy, and music's in the air. In the air, in the air. And voices want to sing, and we will sing. Go, Arthur, how could you ask a question like that? Of course I'm getting ready for Christmas. It's all right here on my list. I've got mistletoe and holly, I've got peppermints and lollipops, and 20 different kinds of chocolate bars. Everyone will be delighted. Even I am quite excited, getting ready for Christmas in the stars. Oh, yes, Arthur, of course it's terrific, but there's more. Everyone will have a cookie. I bought extra for the Wookiee. I just hope that everybody can be here. If they all have marked the date, and if none of them is late, we'll have our greatest of Christmases this year. 2 moons above, we'll see them go as we go sledding in the evening on the blue and frozen snow.
Merry Christmas, Corey.
Hey, what's up? Was it worth it, Corey? Was it worth the wait? What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Blue Milk Social Christmas Special, a very special episode featuring our very special guest, Jeremy, Ice and Fire 33, and Aldous on the Farm off Orwell Lane, along with Crazy Man, a regular, and Ape can't make it tonight. So he's sent us a couple special things to show.
And we took Snuggie Jr.'s advice and we kicked Michael Oden before the show started.
Is that what happened? Okay.
Snuggy's got pull around here. Snuggy says kick him, he's gone. So,
Hey,
guys,
what Snug says goes. It's a good rule.
guys, be nice to Snuggy. He's got the ultimate power. Does he have a wrench? Just... I don't know if he does or not. I don't know how to do that. I'll figure it out later. What do you guys want to do? You want to let's say hi to our wonderful, friendly, and awesome chat. Finatra dropped by to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you, Finatra. Mo Biggs back to cyberbully us again. Shit. He might not cyberbully us that much tonight, because he'll probably agree with most of what we're saying. Sulky, Yub Nub. Jeremy's just having internet connection problems. He said if he drops out, he'll try to hop back in. Either that or he's. Who else we got here? Corey. That was it, man. We made that just for you. Because we know you like Twilio chicks. Did you see her shirt? It said, what did it say, Crazy?
I don't know.
It said, your lack of cheer. I find your lack of cheer disturbing. That's what she said. It said. Okay, Jeremy's back with his icon.
There you go. Yeah, Avatar should be there now.
You don't like Wilford? Eat that oatmeal. Prevents the diabetes.
Space diabetes.
The diabetes. Yeah. Scarlet Fever. Well, welcome to the show.
Scarlett's usual on Jeremy's channel. It's nice to have you around.
Always awesome to see Scarlett.
Yeah, Scarlett, Dana, and Kiwi Skirt are all in the chat. Great to see all three of you. Merry Christmas,
Dana
everybody.
and Kiwi. Yeah, that's the trio. They're the tripod right there.
Yeah, Kiwi's become one of our regulars. We see her most of the
every
time.
week.
Yeah, Kiwi's the coolest.
So yeah, welcome back.
Kiwi is the coolest.
Kiwi and Dana.
I've been trying to talk them all three into doing a show. Like,
it would be a great show. They have great voices for radio. They flow very well on stream. Every time they're on stream, the chat loves them. Yeah, they would do a great show, I think. I would give them the keys to the castle, and they could do whatever they wanted any night of the week.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, Ape.
Ape had family stuff.
He's got family and stuff. Felix, there he is. What's up, Felix?
Hey,
wow, Merry Christmas, brother.
I didn't know if we would have had to make Mo Biggs work and drop in links and stuff if you weren't here.
So what, you guys want to hop into our topic?
Oh, sure. I think first, I mean, if I could, I mean, greetings, salutations, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you guys.
Everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good one.
Absolutely. I mean, even to those people that are on the boardwalk, homeless in New Jersey, with their LP player plugged into some convenience store outlet, listening to Bon Jovi records, and even those tucked away in the safety of their home in Bedford Falls. Actually, let me take that back. Fuck Sam Wainwright. He can pound sand, because if anybody is a fan of Rebel Moon, it is definitely Sam Wainwright. So hee-haw, that motherfucker.
Does anyone know what the fuck he's talking about?
You don't know Sam Wainwright, man. Come on.
He's like,
I personally do not know who Sam Wainwright is.
Sam Wainwright's the guy that's on the phone when Jimmy Stewart's character, realizes that he actually cares about his wife. He's the guy in plastics. He's going to bring the plant to Bedford Falls so that everybody has a good job.
You went a little bit deep.
Even
That's
Snuggy
not
Jr.
deep. No, but
even Snuggy Jr.'s down here in the chat going, "Who the fuck is Sam Wainwright?"
Yeah,
it's like you guys don't watch It's a Wonderful Life.
I haven't watched it like for 3 years. See, Corey doesn't know.
Why would an Australian know?
I didn't watch it.
They have their own version. It's like it's a diggity dupery life, something like that.
It's a kangaroo lifestyle.
I haven't watched it this year,
They're-
but
they're
I usually
playing
watch
every
it every Christmas.
So what's up with you, crackhead? Jeremy? I still call him crackhead from the old days. Is he here back? All right, well, what's up with you,
I'm
crazy? Okay, here he is. Oh, no, there
this
he goes.
internet. Yeah. Pass it to Crazy. I'll get a better connection.
Yeah, crazy. I went up to Crazy's house. He lives about an hour and a half away from me. And I went up there and we watched Rebel Moon because I don't have Netflix. So I just went to Crazy's house to hang out and watch it. And that movie was the worst part of the adventure, I have to say.
You mean you didn't like the space badge?
That, I think I might have turned my head just for a second when we were actually watching it to see if Crazy was watching or not, because like as soon as the movie started, he went like right to his phone. He was like he
Well-
checked out, and
Well, my beloved Cincinnati Bengals were getting destroyed,
he
and I was
watching the game.
half paying attention to the movie and half paying attention to what was going on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as you put it up on a still on your show, it's like, oh my
Once
god.
you see it, there's no going back. Yeah.
And mainly like the entire thing just seemed to have like no purpose. Like you could tell it was going nowhere, and then it went nowhere. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I hope this goes somewhere. It's like you could just tell from the beginning this thing is going nowhere.
Yeah, Doc Hayes in our chat the other night, I thought, had the most apt description for what Rebel Moon is, and he called it the Snyderest Snyder movie he had ever seen, and that really kind of encapsulates it. This is the Snyderest Zack frickin' Snyder movie I've ever seen in my life. It's everything that he would probably want to do if he could just if he has just full reign on a project, and it seems like Netflix kind of did give him the keys to produce this movie. Their only stipulation was make it PG. But of course, he goes and films this 4-hour rated R epic that he calls the definitive version. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like he just bit a bunch of the best of the best of sci-fi over the last 30 years and kind of jammed it all into one blender and hope that it, hope for the.
This is Corey. This is kind of like how they were trying to market it
mess.
and stuff. They're like, this is going to be the new Star Wars. Star Wars is dead. Now comes the Zack Snyder sci-fi fantasy universe to fill that void, and all you sad fans' hearts who have no hobby. And it was just terrible. It was.
Well, the problem is,
Yeah, let's take the Star Wars clip that Zack Snyder got rejected for at Star Wars and turn it into something else and hope it becomes the next Star Wars.
There's this old clip. I just was thinking that like George Lucas at one point, someone was interviewing him of, Star Wars, and he says, it's the story's important, a special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing. And it's like he was talking about this, okay. like Zack Snyder watched George Lucas say that and said, let's make that movie. The boring movie with no story and awesome special effects. And even really the special effects weren't that great. They looked like you could tell
they were bad in spots.
you could pick out the layers. It was like there's a front, he's on the middle, that's the background. And it looked like almost in some plot spots looked really good where they're out in space and the ships. And then it would cut to this scene. They looked like a high school play where they're standing in front of a painted background or something. It was ridiculous.
Well, I think one of the most interesting things of this is that this was a pitch or a spec script or something to Disney for Star Wars, and they denied it. And then what it feels like is what we're watching is not a refined product. It doesn't feel like it went through any kind of a writer structure, a traditional writer structure where you build a story and you structure it out completely. It does, as Jeremy indicated, feel like it was cut from individual moments of other films. Like, wouldn't it be cool if? And sometimes, wouldn't it be cool if films can work? Transporter is a great example of that with Jason Statham. It's just a series of intercut, wouldn't it be cool if moments. but the story, the story was solid before you get into the wouldn't it be cool if moments. This feels like it's just a bunch of those moments stapled together in haphazard formation, and I've only made it roughly 40 to 50 minutes in. I made it about a half hour, 40 minutes in, and then I've watched it 3 times, making it 7 minutes in each time before I've shut it off. Because I don't want to hate watch something. That's not something I want to do. What I find so amazing about this, though, is they seem to be really, I mean, the the shoehorn of writing is really trying to get something going here, and they can't. And there are so many epic sci-fi stories of this magnitude that they could just easily borrow from and lift the story out of, change the name and the context,
they tried to
and
do,
move
but
on.
they didn't do it good. And it's like beware when they come out with a brand new franchise and it says part 1 of 2, and it's like you might as well just wait for part 2, because all these dudes are doing is like, let's put the prequel out first. Let's put out the origin of a bunch of characters that nobody gives a fuck about. It's like, just show part 2 first, like
Right.
George
Well,
Lucas
we
or
touched
whatever.
on that
You
on
know,
pop
it's
culture.
like, and all they do is wander around like collecting the characters for this big grand adventure they're going to have in the next movie for the most part.
Well, that's Zack Snyder's fatal flaw right there. Yeah, I mean, he's always trying to create spectacle when he just can never take the time to create an actual good, compelling character. There's not a single compelling character in this whole freaking movie. And everybody's motivations are incredibly flimsy. Everything's paper thin. It's just nothing lands.
Yeah, they didn't like really help. Like the people that they went around and collected, they didn't really like help them. They just kind of showed up and watched. Like, you know, they showed up and watched this guy beat this bet. If you can ride this dragon, you know, you're free. It's like, well, he could have done that at any time without any intervention from these other people who were here, and they just stood there and watched and contributed in no way. And then the dragon killed the guy, and he just like went off with them like, oh, I'm loyal to you now for some reason. And then they get to the space Electra, that chick with the, you know, she looked just like Electra, and she had swords or whatever, and they just show up where she's fighting this demon, and then she kills this big Spider Woman, and then she's like, okay, I'm on your team now. And they just like,
I've seen her compared to Solomon Kane or Vampire Hunter.
It's a New Hope meets Magnificent Seven meets Warhammer 40K, all mashed into one just horrible melting pot.
Yeah, I think, and here's the saddest part of this is the space version of Magnificent Seven has been done better, and it was done 43 years ago. Battle Beyond the Stars, 1980, Roger Corman, written by John Sayles. John Sayles went on, it was one of his early films. He went on to write Clan of the Cave Bear in 86. He wrote Apollo 13 in 95. He wrote Sunshine State in 02, amongst a great number of other films. But he was starting out, and this is the differential, right? Is in 1980 when Sayles and Corman did that movie, it was a low budget film, but the story is good. It still holds up today, and it harkens back because they cast good people in it. You've got George Papard, you've got Robert Vaughn, you've got Richard Thomas of the Waltons. John Saxon is in it famously. I mean, he's a huge slasher actor from the early 80s. And that was one of his first forays from, being in mainstream Hollywood into the B movies.
Yeah,
you've got Sybil Danning, Darlene Farland. That's a fantastic movie, and they adapted that Magnificent Seven Samurai mythos.
Well, it's like even
really,
just
really
saying
well.
that, it's like it was already the Seven Samurai, and then they adapted it to the Magnificent Seven, and now how many sci-fi? I can go into my long box of Star Wars comics. Okay, the movie of Star Wars is adapted in the first 6 issues. Number 7 through 10 is an adaptation of Han Solo in a village. I think there was 8 of them or 10. 8 against the guy. It's basically the Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven. Only there was 8 of them. Or the same story. That's the first ever Star Wars EU story, or right there among the first 3 that came out. And then they've done it. They did it in Mando with Cara Dune. They did it in Clone Wars at least once, maybe twice.
Is that comic version where they famously brought in Jackson?
Yep, that Jackson was one of them. Yep, that's what it was. But I mean, yeah, we've already seen this Zack Snyder, and we saw it in full speed the other 12 times. You know.
See, this is the problem, right? They bring you in, right? And Zack Snyder's always with one hand, I'm going to show you spectacle, but with the other hand, I'm not going to give you any substance.
No meat in that
And
sandwich at all, was there?
There's literally no character development through the entire movie for any character. You have no idea what their motivations are for being there, except for the Han Solo character.
He
but
wanted
you knew,
steak, and the evil dude wanted to be sucked off by some kind of tentacle or something. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I don't know what was going on.
But
with
everyone
that.
do what Mo says and donate to subscribe to my OnlyFans, because all my money's at George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy's house and Bob Iger's house. I wasted it all.
But they start off. Corey is asking, what's the plot of this movie?
There's not much, okay? There's a chick who's a farmer who has to go to a bar to hire a spaceship to go to a different planet.
Well,
and,
first, like the mother world invades and takes everything from these farmers and leaves them with pretty much nothing.
Why do these people? I thought I was watching like The Hobbit for a minute. Like, why do these people in this sci-fi movie, like, why are they such poor rural farmers living in medieval times with medieval tools, drinking steins in a pub, singing folk songs with furs? It's like, this is, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
and this movie
starts off like let's try to make it look like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings or whatever, but in space. I don't know.
This movie immediately starts out with poor dialogue choices. Like right off the bat, the girl has like her own little monologue to her father about, I'm not even sure if I can love or if I deserve to be loved, and it's just cringe right from the start.
I'm trying not to ignore him, man. Richard Thomas only appears in the best of the best. This contract. Steve is just bitter that the guy didn't kill the dragon and then celebrate by screaming Lisa free. I think he did say something similar to that. What was D-Wag saying, Mo? I'm reading him. D-Wag. All right, sorry, guys.
So the plot of the movie is, and they steal from just about everything, dude. Like there's scenes stolen from Harry Potter, there's scenes stolen from Gladiator, there's on top of what
and
Jeremy
the
was
characters
saying.
Too, not just the scenes, the characters. There's Space Conan, Space Electra. That one guy looks exactly like they just took Quinlan Voss and painted his yellow parts blue out of Star Wars. And I think the one thing that really confused me, okay, you know that guy at the beginning who was one of the evil guys with the troopers, and he helped her escape, and you thought he was going to be the big hero male lead, and then he just like disappeared.
Yeah,
the whole fucking movie. What was up with that?
He might be in part 2, who knows? But pretty much what they're doing is they're going to go. The mother world invades, takes these farmers. This farmer who has like, you could tell she has some kind of sordid past or whatever from her crappy dialogue monologues, and then she goes on to go out and hire, and this is where they go through to find their 7 samurai warriors that they can
That's the whole rest of the fucking
to
movie.
fight the mothership. Yeah.
And they're just rip-offs of other characters, and when they find them, they're in the proper setting of the ripped-off character, and
you can
just join them for no. They're like, okay, cool. The general was the one who had the main good reason, because they said you'll get a chance to kill the guys, and he said, all right, I'm in. And all the rest of them just like, I don't even know why they joined him or went with them at all.
Well, everything seemed, and again, I'm basing it just off of 40 plus minutes of viewing, so I only saw the
other 40
first,
minutes about the same.
Yeah, the first person join and then the slave join. But either way, everything it's spoon fed. There's no character development. It's linear progression. It's disappointing. If you watch the original Seven Samurai, yes, has some of that, but it's contextualized in dialogue and it makes sense. This doesn't have that. When you watch the Magnificent Seven, they actually improved upon what they took from the Seven Samurai, and you have dialogue and you have character understanding of where these people are coming from, why they're joining. You don't get that here. Everything's very, and interspersed through all of this is some of the most abusive utilization of quote unquote bullet time that has occurred since 1999.
There's not 1 second of action sequence that's not in slow motion. It's fucking.
Oh. Dana Marie asks a question. She says, "For someone new like me to Star Wars, is there a particular order I should watch, or what key movies should I watch?"
George Lucas
watch them in the order they came out. That's what I
That's
say.
what a lot of fans
Absolutely.
say if they grew up in the original.
A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, then go right to the prequels.
George Lucas.
That's what I would do.
Yep, and then watch Rogue One and stop, because you don't need to watch after that.
Yeah, I would suggest watching 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3. But if you watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I would suggest
both would be enjoyable. Yeah.
If you've never seen them before, in 2023, going on 2024, I would say watch them 1 through 6 because you already know. There's like Luke, I'm your father. You've already heard people say that. That's the big reason that you tell people to watch 4 and 5 first. The other reason that there could be a lot of credit, like validation to say watch 4, 5, and 6, even from George Lucas, who says watch them 1 through 6, because George Lucas says at the beginning he made 4, 5, and 6 first because those are the most exciting parts. So, like, if you watch 1, 2, and 3 first, it might make more sense linearly in your head, but you might not walk away as big of a Star Wars fan if that's the first you see. So, yeah, I'm going to change mine and say, yeah, go with what these guys said. Watch episode 4, 5, and 6 first.
And if you have the time, I would suggest watching 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, then the Clone Wars series, and then 3.
That'll take you like a year though to do because there's like 7 seasons. So.
Kiwi's got it right.
Dana, watch episode 4, 5, 6. If you still want more.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my own opinion on the end of Rogue One. I would watch Rogue One right up until the plans are sent up to the ship and then just shut the show, because the ending of Rogue One into episode 4 makes no sense.
It does kind of.
It doesn't, because none of Vader's dialogue with Captain Antilles aboard the Tantive 4 at the beginning of episode 4 makes any sense when you contextualize the fact that Vader watched Tantive 4 leave Home 1. It makes no sense. It breaks all continuity. The dialogue is absolutely terrible.
He says several transmissions were beamed to this ship. They were beamed to the other ship and flew across technically.
No. He says several transmissions were beamed to this ship. There were no transmissions beamed to that ship. He watched the data disk get handed through the air.
Well, it was to the other ship, and then that ship came.
No, he says this ship, Steve. Words have meaning. It's broken. Rogue One's great until the end Vader sequence. I understand that every fanboy loves seeing Vader swing around a lightsaber and kill people, but it was bad filmmaking.
But anyway, you're overreacting in my opinion. But anyway,
Corey Martin says there's
episode 4, 5, and 6. If you still want more, Rogue One. Okay, now this is Mo Biggs, who's been in our chat every fucking episode that we've done about Andor, which is the prequel to Rogue One, and it's the best Disney show that Disney's put out, made by the cast and crew of Rogue One. So, explain that to me, Mo.
That's not made by the cast and crew of it. It's written by
It is.
different people. It's directed by different people, and the guy that plays the main Cassian Andor is one of the producers.
I thought Tony Gilroy did Rogue One, and he does Andor.
Right, he was involved in it for sure, but there's a writer's room on it, and they have different writers. You can't associate the two, and also the end of Rogue One was reshoots. The director did not get end call on that. That was the entire inclusion of Vader at the end was all reshoots that was done after the fact. The original director did not want to handle that. He wanted to end it as a subtle. He wanted to leave it a little open ended so that it flowed better. And what Disney did broke it because they wanted that fan service moment. And it's kind of no different than what Netflix did with this. What Netflix was looking to do with Rebel Moon was exactly what we're doing now. Is they wanted the talk. They wanted something that was going to reside in the zeitgeist and have a discussion point. Whether they thought that Zack Snyder would actually deliver that, the response would be positive or not, I don't know. But man, it's not good in any way, shape, or form. Came out.
I really think that they wanted, because they have a director's cut, right? And I feel like they wanted to. I feel like they wanted to recreate the whole debacle with the whole shebang with Justice League.
Yeah, this is Snyder's MO down to a T. Let's put out the theatrical version. It gets shit on. Nobody likes it. But oh wait, this isn't the real version of the movie. There's a director's cut. It's his same playbook.
It is.
Right. It definitely has become that way. It feels that way. I don't know if that's the case here. I don't know what Netflix is doing. God bless them, whatever they're doing, if they're making money, because that's at the end of the day all I want for every company out there. I want them to produce whatever people want to consume, make money, man.
Well, one thing
I
was
don't
very
see how
clear.
this is doing that in any way.
Netflix very clearly wanted the PG-13 version, and Zack Snyder clearly wanted the rated R version, his director's cut rated R version. If you look at some of the fight scenes, especially some of the close-up ones in the bar, where Korra is should be just blowing these dudes' head off, point blank range, pulling the trigger, and you're seeing not a drop of blood. I get the feeling when the director's cut comes out, we're going to see heads flying off all over the place. Like, it seems like Snyder just wanted to do this crazy R-rated 4-hour romp, and Netflix kind of reined him in and said, no, we need a 2-hour theatrical version that's PG-13.
One thing I gotta ask, Jeremy, did you notice, like, in the very first bar scene with the bar in the town, right, where she first gets into a fight with the troopers they left behind, and she murks them all with one shot, right? And then you get into the bar scene where she's fighting with Charlie Hunnam, and she can't hit anything.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, man, what is going on with this?
It's a lot of the fight scenes are just they're horribly choreographed. They make no sense, and I don't know, man. It's just a bad movie. And it's a shame too, because we were actually talking about the actress that plays Korra. I'm blanking on her name now. Clara something. She's actually a really good actress. She's in probably the very best episode of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinets of Curiosities horror anthology that's on Netflix. Really, really good episodes. Like, so she's capable of delivering some really, really good dialogue when given proper, writing. But she was just misused.
I think when you talk about that, I mean, that goes back to something we've talked a lot about on Pop Culture Live on Saturdays, which is there are some actors, and Pedro Pascal is in this category. When you give him a good script, like we saw in the first 10, 20 minutes of the first episode of The Last of Us, he acts the shit out of it, and it's great.
Yeah,
Mandalorian season 1 was the same one. Game of Thrones, again, you see this resonance, and he can create a character based off of what's on the page really, really well. But when you dive back and you give him something that's not written well, he can't work with it. And that was the rest of The Last of Us. Those first 20 minutes were engaging. Man, we covered it up through episode 3 or 4 on the show, and then we walked away because the writing quality went right into the ground. And you see that in Rebel Moon. There's moments in the first 20, 30 minutes that are positive and good, and then it's like it just slowly starts, not even slowly, it drops off a precipitous cliff. And the dialogue, once she goes on her mission, becomes so force-fed that it becomes offensive.
Everything is explained to you, like the audiences are fucking toddlers that need every little bit of exposition to explain every little scene. He doesn't treat the audience like they have any fucking brain in their head. He's got to actually explain every little thing out instead of just putting together a compelling scene.
Well, I think that goes back to the very beginning, which at first I kind of enjoyed. You're giving me the set piece. You're giving me the narration for what's going on in this world. And in hindsight, I regret that. Like, don't give me the narration. Don't explain what's going on. Lead me into that and explain what the world is as we delve through it. And I think that's a mistake that he makes. If you look at A New Hope, they do that, right? It opens up with the crawl, and then immediately you delve into something, and you don't have the full backstory. You don't know what is Vader, who is Vader. You have no idea. But as he bursts through, following the stormtroopers on the Tantive 4, he's an imposing figure of power. You don't get that with the general in this, and that's all encompassing across. It's an over explained. We have to explain everything for you before it occurs so that you're not surprised. And it just feels like that spoon-fed moment of storytelling that there was no grasp of structure or format or building drama. I want drama. Everybody wants drama. You just want it encapsulated within an action sci-fi beat. And that's non-existent here. You know everything as soon as it happens.
Oh, Sulky Ewok says, did Rebel Moon have any Ewoks in it? No, it had tentacle sex aliens in it on a couple different occasions.
Oh man, I'm glad I didn't get longer than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
there's legit tentacle porn. It's fucking weird.
Dude, I don't know what that was all about.
And hey, the last 2/3 of this might be fantastic. I haven't gotten to them yet, but from everything you guys are saying, I'm not inclined to watch it. I hit that. I gave it a try. It's not something I want to watch. I can give you 5 movies that are better than this. That are more enjoyable, that were all filmed on a lower budget. And I think that's what's the most offensive thing here, because I can think of like 7 or 8 guys that are just doing stuff on Dust on YouTube, or writing good things and drawing good things in the graphic novel world, that if you threw $1 million at them, they could produce something much better than this, even as a 45-minute short.
Mo's going off about Ewoks too. Sorry, Mo. Steve's the chat puller upper. I don't have access to that. But yeah, back to the dude. It irritates me. This movie, like, they steal from so much, and this movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Right? It starts out as A New Hope, and it steals from Harry Potter with the hippogriff scene, and it's like straight from Harry Potter. It's a straight hippogriff.
Yeah, it is. That I did catch that. I know you mentioned that a little bit on Saturday, and I hadn't seen it yet. I've watched it since then. And yeah, it is. It does feel exactly out of Harry, right down to the slow-mo, with him jumping off the cliff and regaining control. I think that is what set me out so much, was just the constant use of it. The slow-mo is overused.
Yeah.
And it doesn't build drama. It makes you disinterested. It makes me want to pull away instead of being engaged and pulling away.
Sorry, my headphones quit working for a minute.
The slow mo was used great in 300. Perfect use of slow mo. Wasn't overused. Just in perfect. And at the perfect times, you would get these great slow mo action scenes.
Yeah, you like
But it seems like
highlight.
he's forever trying to recapture that in every movie he's done since, and he just overuses it.
It's like the way you do it is you show everything fast and they're running, and the guy pulls out his gun, pa 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 pa, and then then you go into slow motion for a second as the bullets go by, and then you snap out of it. I mean, he goes like, there's this part where the guy's just running in slow mo.
Or the part when the damn
Yeah.
freaking eagle's flying over her and she puts her arm up to touch the wing, and it's like, okay, let's go fucking slow mo again. It's like this pointless slow mo shit.
Right.
People are
It just
looking
drags
at
it
each
out.
other in slow mo. Like,
Mo Big says, "Crazy. Did you at least see my comment about how Steve must be my guardian angel the way he's showing me what life would be like without me?"
all right, pause the show. We got to read Mo's fucking comment.
Well, I mean,
it's my bad, Mo. I was having technical
that's
difficulties there. I got behind.
that's a pretty good segue. Like, you know,
Uh,
it's very typical to "It's a Wonderful Life."
oh, life can suck a lot of times, and
Well, Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls.
that wasn't that good of a segue, by the way. Crazy, but here we go.
What's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is I want to hire you.
Hire me?
I want you to manage my affairs, run my properties. George, I'll start you out at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year?
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town? Buying your wife a lot of fine clothes, a couple of business trips to New York a year, maybe once in a while Europe. You wouldn't mind that, would you, George?
Would I? You're not talking to somebody else around here, are you? You know, this is me. You remember me? George Bailey.
George Bailey. Yeah. George Bailey, whose ship has just come in. Provided he has enough brains to climb aboard.
Holy mackerel. Well, how about the building and loan?
Oh, confound it, man. Are you afraid of success? I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year starting today. Is it a deal or isn't it?
Well, Mr. Plunter, I know I ought to jump at the chance, but I just, I wonder if it'd be possible for you to give me 24 hours to think it over.
Sure. You go on home and talk about it to your wife.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, then in the meantime, I'll draw up the papers.
All right, sir.
Okay, George?
Okay, Mr. Potter. No, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I don't need 24 hours. I don't have to talk to anybody. I know right now, and the answer's no. Doggone it. You sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. In the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing but a scurvy little spider. And it goes for you, too.
That one, that one came courtesy of Arrogant Ape. He made that for us since he couldn't be here tonight. He wanted to send us a Christmas present for all of you to enjoy. So thank you, Ape. He's not in our chat. He's probably got
Yeah, good job, Ape. That was good.
Were coming or something. He made all that. You know, I put did you see those lines that made it look old? I put those on there. I hope he doesn't think I ruined his art.
No, it gives it nice. Gives it a nice touch.
Yeah. Because I didn't have time to tell him, so he's like sitting there watching it at home right now. Like, Steve fucking up my filmmakers should not alter other creators' artwork. No, that was good. I made that for us. Okay, we're gonna address Mo's issue here for a minute. Well, it's my issue, Mo. Of it's my bad. So
Right.
let me find him here. If you liked that oatmeal commercial, you will love the Ewok Adventure movies. That is true. They have
The
Wilford
first one's
Brimley.
great, man. The first one's awesome.
I like the second one better because the whole family gets murdered right at the beginning.
A little bit of spoilers. Spoilers.
Steve is too ashamed to face the panel after his gatekeeping ruined life day for everyone. I'm sorry. There was a lot of Ewok footage at the beginning of the stream, but then it went off on a non-Ewok tangent. Okay, Mo, did you see the Ewok? We'll go right into our Ewok segment. It's abbreviated this week. Instead of reading you an Ewok's book, Mo, I got something even better. Did you see at the beginning of our show in the intro, there's Ewoks that were on ice skates? You can see behind me, my room is still pretty messy, but it's less messy. Like I started organizing. I've been digging through stuff. All right, Mo, look what I found. The Ice Capades from 1986. I got the program.
Uh-oh.
Check this out. One of 6 segments featured in the Ice Capades tour of 1986 was the Ewoks on ice. That was a real fucking thing.
Ewoks on ice. That's terrible.
Jeez.
They should have just done Ewoks on Hoth.
Should have just done Ewoks on crack.
They should have done Wampas on ice and realized George Lucas's dream of actually having a full-size Wampa that didn't fall down in the cold weather. Okay, so we're going to read this. The Ewoks and the Magic Sunberries, A Tale for Kids, 3 to 93. So that covers all of us here, probably. On the mystic noon of Endor, where enchanted forests grow, there dwells a furry fellowship, the Ewoks, don't you know? The Ewoks live in giant trees. They're busy all the day, but around the bonfire every night, they sing and dance and play. The storyteller is Logray, an Ewok old and wise. He now begins a classic tale of life beyond our skies. Wait a minute. Does that mean he died? Oh, no, he's talking about outer space. Okay. You'll need a course in Ewokese to help you understand the glories and the triumphs of this hardy, happy clan. But sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. Bravo, you're on your way. Presto, Chango, Beachy Wawa, you're an Ewok for the day. The end. All right, I'm gonna leave this on the screen for another 20 seconds, just so you can get your Ewok fill of the week. You had enough? Is that enough? Ewoks?
Did Ewoks start the furry thing? Maybe, Corey. Maybe.
The Ewoks didn't start it. It was the first person who started jacking off the pictures of Ewoks who started it.
Disgusting.
Or made their girlfriend wear an Ewok suit. Okay, enough of that. Crazy also said a few things. I saw a trailer of Dune, which is now a teen drama. You guys liked Dune 1 mostly, didn't you?
Yeah, Dune 1 is an excellent adaptation of the first book-ish of the first part of the first book. There's a lot of concerns that I have over what they're going to do for the next 2 parts. I wouldn't say it's a teen drama, other than the fact that the main character is a teen. So,
well, if it's a drama and there's a teen in it, technically it is.
Dune, Dune is not really my thing. I know that Jeremy and Aldous are big fans.
Dune, if you like reading novels, I think it's better as a book and a lot of people have tried to adapt it. And the first thing the fans always say is it true or not to the book? You know, I mean, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings before they made the movies. You know, it's like intellectual whatever. You know, we read books that are this thick, and they sit around and talk and about how
Well,
you know.
even the Lord of the Rings movies, Steve, are they're pale imitations of the book. They're good films, but they're
That's
pale
what I'm saying.
imitations.
They need to kind of dumb it down for a mass audience and make it exciting. But yet, if they do too much alteration, then all the core fans won't like it. Which, like, Dune never appealed to the mainstream or whatever. You
But
know, I
it
mean, it was
did.
more like
It's
like a niche thing as movies. Or, you know, like the one with Sting, like it never took off as movies the way it did as a book, just because I think they started trying to make it movies after Star Wars, you know, and people go in there, oh, sci-fi with this expectation of like a fast action
I
story, and Dune is like more,
I got to
you
correct you
know,
there. Dune was on the fast track to be made into a movie before Star Wars. That was
but no one
Jodorowsky's
saw
Dune.
it, but nobody saw it till after. So like the audience in that time.
Because what Lucas did with Star Wars, one of the magical things that Lucas did with Star Wars was he made great special effects, believable special effects, affordable. And before that, like, people looked at Dune like, you're never going to be able to do that. How do we do this? And Lucas assembled the team on Star Wars that made it possible. But they were trying to do it in 74, 75 is when they first started approaching Jodorowsky. And he assembled a hell of a team, man. A lot of what you see in David Lynch's Dune, as far as the visuals, even some of the visuals that were carried over into both the sci-fi series and the Denis Villeneuve films, are carried over from what Jodorowsky did, and because he pulled together a great
More
group of
what
artists.
I'm more saying is Star Wars came out first. The general public saw Star Wars, was infused with toys, posters, you know, just merchandise everywhere. Dune came out shortly after that in that environment. And like I remember my grandma bought me a board game of Dune. And you know, I was probably like 8 or 10 or maybe younger. I can't remember what year that came out with. But you know, you open it up like, oh, this isn't Star Wars, you know. So it was more targeted to an older crowd as a sci-fi movie that was looking like the time was not right for the audience. I'm saying because of the expectations of what
Well,
people would
it's not a
expect
filtered
from
down.
sci-fi.
It's not a filtered down story.
And see, then they
Star Wars.
They tried to filter it down in the cut, and they cut it down where they cut. You know, you've got the director's cut from David Lynch, and then you've got the regular one,
Oh,
which
there is no
tries
direct.
to tell tries to tell the complete story of like all these thick ass novels in like an hour and a half, and
Right.
it
There
fails
is no
miserably.
director's cut of David Lynch's 1984 Dune. There's two Alan Smythe cuts, both of which Lynch has removed his name from. One
There
was
you go.
shown on KTLA in the 80s. Was a television cut. There's another cut that's the European cut that's slightly longer, both of which involve a little bit of narration in the beginning to do some prologue. But I
So
think
you agree that the story was way too big to try to squeeze into that movie.
well, yeah, absolutely. You
Like,
can't do
yes.
the book. You can't do Dune, which is a 500 plus page novel, in
And there's
one
no
film.
hook like the
It's
New
not
Hope,
possible. But
you know,
also at the
like
same time, you're comparing apples to oranges when you're talking about Star Wars, because A New Hope from 1977 is all Star Wars is. At the end of the day, it was saved in the editing room. The original film was garbage from what Lucas produced, and arguably without the cultural zeitgeist nostalgia.
We got Marshall Lucas
I mean,
to
well,
thank for Star Wars.
Right, but without the
film was
cultural
all there.
zeitgeist nostalgia, it's not like 1977 Star Wars is a good film. It's a good film in the same vein that every other Campbellian, Freudian, and Jungian system of film is good. It's in that same vein as Excalibur. If Borman's Excalibur would have come out and hit the same zeitgeist moment with the special effects, it would have had the same effect. But it didn't.
I mean,
It
that's
came
what I'm
after.
saying. Any filmmaker who had an editor or a director of cinematography or somebody else who took on a role, therefore that director sucks and his movie sucked. Like
No,
George
I
Lucas
don't
gave
think
us
it's that way, because
story. He went
I think
out there on the
you
set.
would
All
be
the footage for her to edit, he brought to her, and
no. Well,
she edited it
you'd be
better
hard
than he
pressed.
could.
You'd be
He had a
hard
better
pressed.
editor.
You can defend Lucas as much as you
I'm
want.
not
It's
defending. I'm
fine.
just saying, like he
But
had
when you
he
get
had all
into
this
it,
prepared. She edited it.
but when you get into it, at the end of the day, he has one good film under his name. He also has Howard the Duck. So when you're talking about, is he some master of filmmaking and story crafting? No, absolutely not. He has Howard the Duck under his name. He grabs from pulp and he grabs from classic Americana, and he wove it into something, and what he wove it into wasn't coherent in any way, shape, or form. And you can see that when you look at the comic that was adapted recently from the rough cut script, or even if you go and try to listen to the radio play that was done from the rough cut script, it's actually awful.
No,
It
that
was
radio
saved,
play is
and then
fucking awesome. I've been telling everybody on this show for weeks to go listen to it. I've listened to it 700 fucking times. You're wrong. That's all
and
wrong.
that's fine, man. We can
It's all
disagree.
wrong.
And then when you move into the second movie, you have Lawrence Kasdan, who has a long-standing history of being a fixer. Made a good movie, and then you have the third movie. And the less we talk about Return of the Jedi, the better, because it's not even in the remotely in the same qualification of category as the first two Star Wars films, mainly because it has Ewoks. Sorry to the Ewok fan in the crowd, but that's a mistake. But when you move into the prequels, that's all Lucas. Lucas had free reign, and they're absolute utter disasters, with the exception of some of the set pieces that are done in The Phantom Menace. As far as films go, if you're talking about film, your goal in a film is to tell a concise story. No different than your goal in a graphic novel or a book is to tell a concise story. It's got to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And within that, you can build arcs and structure it out so that you have questions that need to be answered. But I should be able to read any one book in your series and know everything I need to know about the characters, and at the same time have a concise story that I can read. And that's not true for Lucas. And that is true. And it's not true for Dune either. And that's why Dune is that's why Dune is impossible to adapt. And that's why it's so shocking that Villeneuve's Dune Part 1 did such a good job, because it is shocking that something like that doesn't follow the standard formula was produced. And I'm sorry, Crazy Man, I didn't mean to talk over you.
I was just gonna say, because Snuggy's going off down here about how Howard the Duck is awesome.
Well, that's Snuggy. I mean, Snuggy's always going to take the contrarian point, and God bless him for it, man.
And I gotta agree with him. I loved Howard the Duck. I was a young kid when that came out, and I loved it. I still to this day like it, even though I know it's a bad film, but I did like it.
Well, as even Snuggy confirms, one of the reasons that Snuggy likes Howard the Duck is just because he showed up in comics with Man-Thing. So,
and who is that actress? I cannot remember her
Leia
name.
Thompson.
Leia Thompson.
Yes, pre-Back to the Future Leia Thompson. I think it's pre-Back to the Future, isn't it? Isn't it before 86?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Mo, Howard the Duck or Back to the Future? Which came first?
Back to the Future came first. Back to the Future was 85. Howard the Duck was 86.
Oh.
That's just that's the Google responding to me on that then.
Yeah, we got the chat lighting it up now. Howard the Duck could be edited down into an entertaining 30-minute TV pilot for a show that was never picked up if you cut out all the parts that drag.
Yeah, see, no, I do agree with that. Is that if you had a really good editor, you could cut that movie down. But that movie has a ton of dead spots, and then there's that whole really weird sequence where Leia Thompson tries to hook up with the duck that just gets really awkward and weird, and that needs to be cut and forever burned. But
Howard the Duck. I can't believe we sidetracked on Howard the Duck.
it's a Wonderful Life, but it's the floor is slippery when wet. So
yeah, let's get back to Rebel Moon. Where were we?
Another bad movie.
Jeremy go?
Say what?
Said where'd Jeremy go?
He popped out. He's having internet troubles.
Yeah.
He might pop back in. But Rebel Moon, yeah, it's I had so many problems with it. Me and Steve tried to keep track of how many times it went slow-mo. We lost count. We lost count.
Every second of anything that was an action sequence, a fight, a chase, anything, and then like a lot of stuff that wasn't even like epic or action scenes or anything. It was just like, why is this in slow-mo? And then you look at the fucking running time, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and like how much of that was slow-mo? Like, half this movie was in slow-mo. Is this movie like, was it too short? Was it only like an hour and 40 minutes? So they just put it all in slow-mo to extend the running time or something? Like, why are half of these scenes, there's not 1 second of action in there that's at regular speed. Not one shot from one gun or at one punt, like nothing. Every bit of it is in fucking slow-mo. It's annoying.
And that's one of my big problems with Zack Snyder, is that he cannot do action without slow-mo. Cannot do it. And it's like he just thinks that it's epically, like, it makes it more epic, and it doesn't.
Well, I don't think it's exclusive to Snyder. I'm not a Snyder apologist. Snyder does a really good job when he has every scene and shot called out for him in source material. If he does that, Watchmen and 300 are good films. They're strong adaptations of their source material, minus the ending of Watchmen, which I arguably, depending on which side of the coin you fall on, he did a decent job adapting to make something that was believable. But overall, when you throw it back to Snyder and he doesn't have that, or he's haphazardly pulling from a variety of sources, what you get is just it's almost nihilistic in its format and thought process, and it doesn't ever register as anything I would qualify as good. But to each their own. I mean, at the end of the day, if you watch Rebel Moon and you enjoy it, great. If you watch it and you hate it, dude,
no one watched it and liked it. One person.
Go watch Battle Beyond the Stars from 1980. Roger Corman. You're going to be more entertained.
This is
my opinion.
This is Zack Snyder's defense, Snuggie. He was asked, why is it so slow-mo? He said, it looks cool. That's what he said.
And yeah,
he's wrong. It doesn't look that cool.
No, like there's scenes where you don't need slow-mo that like when that guy goes and jumps on the back of that bird hippogriff thing, like he totally slows it down. Like it doesn't need to be done. I guarantee you this movie is 20 minutes shorter if there's no slow-mo in it.
Oh, easy. Just from again, I haven't even finished it, and I agree with you. Like that tells you everything you need to know. That hippogriff scene when the bird's flying through the canyon and it hits the wall. Number one, it's ridiculous. The guy tumbles off and slams his head against the rocks. and then immediately gets up without being, disheveled or out of it slightly. And I played hockey in college, man. You get checked into the boards, which is a flexible plexiglass board. You're rattled for a second. It takes you a minute, but nope, not this guy. He just bounces right back up, gets on his feet, and starts running in slow-mo, of course, for an extended period of time, and then does the launch onto the back of the bird. It's just it wasn't needed. That whole sequence isn't required. Show him taming the animal, flying it around, landing it, and then winning the bet. You don't need that extra 15 minutes.
No, at all, especially in the firefight scenes. Like, if you speed those up, if you speed up all the shooting scenes that he slows down, I think it makes it infinitely more interesting.
At least exciting, or some adrenaline, or like impulsive gut, action, or something cool that you want to see in an action movie.
Well, and go back to, like, why does the cantina scene of A New Hope work in episode 4? It works because it's fast paced. You've got an exchange between Greedo and Han Solo of dialogue. You've got 2 moments where you literally do Chekhov's gun, and then you resolve the matter. And then Han establishes his character by tossing the tavern guy, the guy that's running the cantina, some coin. Sorry about the mess. You open, you have your exposition with some dialogue exchange, and then Han establishes the character that he is, which is a smuggler. He's a criminal, and it's okay to have a criminal in that role because he redeems himself at the end of the movie when he comes back to help Luke. Spoiler alert. Those things are important, but if you were to slow-mo any of those moments, it takes away the impact of
Closing down.
Right.
Maybe if they
You're
did
going
that,
contrary to the character, and you can't go contrary to the character. What Snyder has done in Rebel Moon is he's made everybody contrary to the character. Everybody isn't. If you make what's the main character's name? Kara? I've forgotten it already. That's how forgettable she is.
Korra.
So Korra. I'm sorry. So if Korra does something fast, if she does something fast in that initial cantina scene when she's meeting the Han Solo character, great. That establishes that she's quick under draw. When you cut it down and make it into slow-mo, it feels to both the viewer and anybody watching that it dials back the impetus. There's no power behind it. Use slow-mo only when you want to really hit the point.
I'm thinking if they would have done Han Greedo shooting first, maybe if they did that in slow-mo, they could have fixed that way Han Solo dodges the shot. Maybe if they went to super slow-mo on that, they could have.
Only for this special edition, right, Steve?
Oh yeah, just for the
Yeah, don't
Not
let
for, like,
Snuggie get
forever.
away with that either. I'm actually going to screenshot it. B. Arthur was a smoke show and match. That's tragic. That's
Where is it?
that's where eventually this happens
okay,
to
the latest
everybody
one.
that's trying to troll. You will always end up with a line
Oh my
like
God, I
this,
tried
and
to
forever
watch
he will never
couple
live that down.
episodes of Mod one time. Like it was on one of those like Nick at Night or Me TV or something one time, and I never saw Mod. Like I was probably in my mid 40s, early 40s, and I was like, "What the fuck is this Mod?" And I saw like, first of all, the theme song alone is one of the most hideous fucking things to have to endure that's ever been put on TV. And to actually have to watch 10 minutes of that show, man. B. Arthur was not a smoke show in Mod.
B. Arthur in Mod.
Like, I can't even pretend to play along with it. B. Arthur wants you out of her bar.
Hold on one second. I got this one for you. Share screen.
She was in the cantina scene.
Share. Here's B. Arthur in mod. This is Snuggy's smoke show.
I mean, her hair is the color of smoke. Get that off the fucking screen.
Open foil.
Only woman in Hollywood less attractive than shit.
I don't know. Shin wasn't bad.
Shame on you, Snuggy. Shame on you.
What'd he do?
It's making me look up B. Arthur in mod.
Yeah, I agree with QE Skirt. Shin wasn't bad. Shin definitely had the, and this is something that is for sure a trope. It's something about where they take younger women and they use like the close cropped hair and to make it look stringy to make them look less attractive. And that's something I don't understand. Like at some point we went to this thing where we're going to make attractive women look not attractive and unattractive women.
Yeah.
We're going to try to accelerate them. We are in some weird Harrison Bergeron moment in
when
film.
it's an evil chick who's supposed to be corrupted by dark Sith magic, at least it makes sense with Shin Hati. Okay, let's make her look pale, emo, or whatever. But then, like this Rebel Moon, they take the main character who's an attractive woman and try to make her less attractive on purpose. And that part where they cut her hair off is just fucking. She looks hideous.
Oh, in the flashback where they give her the little boy
she's holding
haircut.
up the flag. I had that picture in my folder, but I don't know how to fucking show.
Now, I will defend that. If you're talking about the film, if you're talking about Rebel Moon, I will defend that because making that was something that was suggested. At least I caught the suggestion in Starship Troopers. Maybe I'm wrong, but all male and female recruits were all given a buzz cut. It didn't matter who you were, and that's the same thing. Is that if you look at her versus her lover, they both look like they have the same haircut. Well, that's because it's a unified front. And if you go to a military that is both female and male, that's how it should be done.
Well, I mean,
everybody's treated the same. So you should buzz everybody, and because it removes unified independence.
That chick is ugly, and she looked even uglier with short hair. And I've seen her. She's not ugly, is what I mean. That chick looked freaking hideous with that flat top. She had the same haircut as like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and she looked fucking stupid. And the other part, like even if it's written into the script, I'm just saying they have this chick here and they have her look in two different ways, and that they made her look as least attractive possible in both of them, and they do that in so many movies. They're like, okay, let's
do that in Star Wars a lot.
Ugly. Yeah, in the new Star Wars, let's try to make them look ugly.
They do it to Rose Tico.
If it's the evil chick, like if you played the video games and read the books and stuff, like a lot of the Sith, the Emperor, but the Sith is supposed to corrupt your body and your spirit, and like a lot of the depictions, people are starting to look like vampires and zombies and stuff the stronger they get or whatever. So I mean, what I'm saying with Shin, I was trying to say because we were talking about her, it makes some sense to make that evil character less attractive than the actual person playing it. But like, yeah, Rose Tico, what was the fucking purpose of that?
I don't know. They just are in a potato sack and got rid of all her feminine features so that they could deflect the male gaze, I guess.
Right. Well, if you're a thin woman that has an hourglass figure like a la Veronica Lake, which I'm always going to reference because I'm a noir fan. But if you go to like that level, they have to put layers on you. You hide the curves. But then if you go to the Lizzo scales, we celebrate it. It's insane. It makes absolutely no sense to me, at least as a viewer. You should celebrate the absolute female form, and the female form includes a bust, a narrow waist, and hips. What's wrong with that? Nothing in my world, but
No, and I mean, there are many different types of attractiveness to women, and they shouldn't be. Lizzo should be covered up. Lizzo should 100%
The
be covered up.
camera,
Well, no different
the
than
camera
Jabba
in the
should be
room with
covered up because
Lizzo should be
Lizzo is
covered up.
Jabba. Like, we have reached this weird point in our society where we're celebrating now Jabba's physique. That's happened? Like, everybody understood when I was a kid and I watched Empire Straight or Return of the Jedi that Jabba was a disgusting blob. That was part of it. That was part of his revulsion to you.
Yeah.
Is that he was large and slug-like and just massively obese. He was the definition of exuberance.
Yeah. Exactly. It's what made it's one of those things where you could tell he was the bad guy on sight.
Exactly right, because he defined gluttony, he defined sloth, and because those things used to mean something, and they don't anymore. It was the verbatim upon viewing, you immediately understand that, and that's gone now.
That's how you win the war.
I feel like
you gotta like cut your hair off.
Sulky.
I love Sulky Ewok in here. He's a regular here.
The universal church of stringy or bad haircuts that we are indifferent to is pretty popular these days for some reason.
And Shin is fine, I guess.
And the city of Seattle for making everybody.
I hate you so much right now, Steve. Me and Steve are in different aisles on that. Like, I was born and raised grunge, and he was born and raised metal, 80s metal. So
by the time the 90s came around, the most cool, interesting thing to me was fucking NWA and Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and Tupac and gangster rap and shit, because grunge is like, I don't know.
Well, can we all agree?
A bunch of metalheads who are on heroin and they're all sad and don't know how to play guitar solos very good. Then you have grunge.
Can we all agree that Tawny Katane in White Snake's "Here I Go Again" video is hot? Can we all agree on that?
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so we're all there. And what is Tawny Katane as she extends her body out in exemplifying and extenuating every lithe moment of the female form in an absolute perfectionary
in the female 80s form. The female 80s form.
Absolute big
giant
hair.
poof of hair on the top.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
right
total
on the
big
base,
hair.
So it looked like a big
but I don't
flower,
think anybody in hindsight, outside of 1987, is looking at her hair. They're looking at her form. They're looking at her bust. They're looking at her hips. They're looking at her thighs. Again, what do you see? It's that, man, she's got 30, 36, 24, 36. You're looking at that form. That's what men want. That they want to see that narrow waist. There's a reason when you go back into classic Hollywood, you always see that. When you go back, even before the talkies started, you see that with what they were starting with in the 20s. They were extenuating of what do men actually internally desire the most, and it's a fit woman that has a large bust, a narrow hip, and a large thigh. It doesn't matter if you're a boob guy or an ass guy. It's both worlds, man. That's what people want. And when you're hitting that, why are we still talking about Tawny Katane? Because that moment, she exudes sexuality and exudes that beautiful form.
Snuggy's correcting you right now, though.
What's that?
You know, you had a lot of hot chicks in the 80s in their videos. Was like every glam band, and we have a special lot. Oh yeah, they said they're done with their sound check. Crazy. They said they're ready to go. So coming live, here we go. It's where they say they're live from the moons of Kessel. It's Bon Jovi. Here we go. Space Bon Jovi.
Artu, where are you? Oh, there you are. Well, if you come over here, you'll find a wonderful surprise. You'll have to plug into the central computer to hear what it is. That's right. No, it's not a phase vector. It's your Christmas present.
Up at the winter star, we know that's where you are. Our chimney's big and round, so you can come right down. And if our wish comes true, we'll spend Christmas Eve with you. Our hearts will sing with glee as we decorate the Christmas tree. 1, 2, 3, do we wish you a Merry Christmas? 1, 2, 3, do we love you? It's true.
Artu, the Quaker converter isn't complete yet. It isn't finished. Lock in your circuits again quickly. Artu, Merry Christmas.
I probably could have edited that down a little bit, huh? For those of you who don't understand why that was supposed to be funny, okay, Bon Jovi, when he was 12 years old, sang that song on this album, and that is his first ever recording, professional recording release ever. Let's see back here somewhere he's credited as, where is it? Bon. Hold on, let me find it. You can take my word for it. Look at it. It says he's credited Bon John G, or yeah, Bon John G. The way he really spells it, it's different. It's with a G or whatever. But there it is. My grandma bought me this when I was like.
It's amazing you can hold on to that when it's slippery when wet.
Yeah. There it is. From my vault, I got ice capades. I got stupid. This whole thing, if you want to listen to it, is on YouTube. You can hear it. It's not like, I doubt anyone would probably would want to hear it. But that little Christmas song in the beginning of the intro is also from this.
Oh, with classics like R2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oh, you want to hear? I can tell you all the tracks. We've got side 1, Christmas in the Stars. We heard that earlier in the intro. Bells, 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 which I think has the lead vocals by R2D2, maybe. The Odds Against Christmas.
Wait, the lead vocals are R2D2.
I can't remember. I haven't listened. Like, I don't sit around every
I was
Christmas
gonna say,
jamming
like,
on this crazy.
like,
I'm into
Whoa, whoa,
Star Wars.
whoa!
But come on.
Do not break the mystique for me, Steve. As Snuggie says in the chat, this is why Steve is the most knowledgeable Star Wars expert on the internet. This is why I tune into the channel, because you have this kind of knowledge. You don't downplay it, my friends. Celebrate.
It's all up there, but sometimes it needs jogging. Like, I can't remember specifics until a couple.
It rolls around like a washing machine.
Yeah. And I smoke a lot of weed, so like specific names of things and dates like are really tough for me. As soon as every week, as soon as the show is over, I'll go out there and I'll start smoking, and I fucking and I remember. Okay, last week I was telling you guys this story about. I said I was watching a video and I saw this story about a comic book artist who got his first job because the guy he replaced. Someone told him unpasteurized milk was healthy, and he drank it, and he died. And I couldn't remember. That artist was Todd McFarlane. If you go watch the documentary called Todd McFarlane went from from broke to rich to broke or something again. I don't know. It was in there.
Todd McFarlane got his first job because the guy in front of him passed away from drinking pasteurized.
Well, he'd been like submitting stuff over and over, so he was like right there. But it was some DC book. What was it, Aldous? You know Todd McFarlane's first ever book?
I don't know of anyone that's ever died from drinking pasteurized.
That's what it said on a YouTube video, Aldous. It's definitely 100% factual.
Oh my God, your citation is YouTube. By all means,
I'm just saying, I saw that. The point of this whole story was that I was trying to remember that last week, and I remembered it right after the show ended. It was like, oh yeah, the most of the video was about him buying Sammy Sosa's base. Was it Sammy Sosa? Yeah, buying all those baseballs.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe like who was it?
It was Kiwi Skirt asking about green milk on our show.
Yeah, that's what prompted the whole.
Or if it wasn't Kiwi, it was Angela Curry. One of them two.
Yeah, Todd survived. It was some other guy who you've never maybe heard of because he died from drinking unpasteurized milk before he had. What? You don't care about milk or Bon Jovi? We'll move on. We were talking about.
Well, Mo did have this one comment that made me crack up, and it said, "Let me find it." Steve thought every glam band had hot chicks in their videos. Should we tell him?
Some didn't. I don't think they were all hot. There was a lot. There was a lot of.
Even George Michael. Even George Michael had hot girls in his video.
Yeah, I swear to God, this is a true fucking story. We rode our skateboards to the mall, me and two of my friends, and we went in to this store. It's out of business. It was called Gold Circle. It's like, like your low end box store, but in the mall, okay, attached to the mall. So we went in there and we went in the record department, and this one friend of mine, he pulls up this record. It was Poison. The first Poison. What's the first one called? It's white, and it has all four of their faces on it. And this dude, we're like 13 years old. This dude picks it up. He goes, "These chicks are hot." Ollie, what's up?
Hey, Ollie. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out Cryptidnals, Ollie is 656 Comics. He does this book called Cryptidnals, and it is fantastic.
All the girls in middle school thought Wham was gay. The boys said, no. I don't remember that going down like that. What was that shirt that they wore? Like Wham fans? Forget.
I don't know. This is
I can't
before my
remember. This
time.
big fat girl at my school used to wear a Wham shirt when I was in middle school.
This was before my time, Steve.
Yeah, you were. That's one you're lucky for. You dodged.
Yeah, I was just a
Choose life.
young.
Yeah, choose life. And she was like huge, and it was like we used to make a joke. We would say choose cake.
me and Mo are the same age, and I do not know how he remembers this stuff.
Mo knows everything since like the beginning of entertainment history, like 1930 or something. Mm-mm. We have any left for what is it? What are we even talking? Oh, Rebel Moon.
Yeah, but I mean, we've pretty much gone through like
It
how bad this
sucks
movie
if
is.
you're like really bored and you want to laugh at something, watch it and listen to it. If you're
No,
like,
I would recommend. Dude, I hate to interrupt you, but on your own show, but if you're watching it and you don't like it, don't finish it. There's a ton of great movies that you can watch that are entertaining, have a good story, and you'll be engaged with. And if one's not your bag, then just drift to the next one.
well, I was gonna say if you want to see about 5.5 minutes worth of cool looking, not realistic, but some of them are cool looking, the backgrounds and a couple shot. There's about 5 minutes worth of eye candy in there you could zoom through and look at. And the one thing we didn't say, we said nothing positive. The only thing I can think of positive, he's not original in any way, but that robot did look kind of cool. The
There
robot
are
thing.
there are some visual stuff in
Yeah,
it that is
boo.
pretty good. Some of the backgrounds are pretty visually good, and
Some of them, but not some of them are terrible, and some of them look cool.
some of the character designs on some of the aliens are pretty decent.
Mm.
Like
That one tentacle, the purple dude, looked kind of cool, but he looked.
the one that grabbed the guy's throat and was talking through it.
Oh, that thing was weird.
It was weird, but it was kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. On this one, I would say overall, I think you're better off watching it. Number one, 1980s Flash Gordon is a fantastic movie.
It's got a better soundtrack.
And it does. It has a fantastic soundtrack. But
it's
even
so cheesy now, like to watch that movie with such dated music, but somehow it's still just it's fucking.
well,
cool.
it may be dated music, but the as far as it is an accurate adaptation of the comic strips, and it's absolutely fantastic. The previously mentioned Battle Beyond the Stars, the Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone with a very young Molly Ringwald is also in the same category. I would say as a must watch over Rebel Moon. If you start watching Rebel Moon, you find yourself distracted by just the general bullshit of bad filmmaking.
Just the look
The
of it.
Last Starfighter from 1984, one of the first CGI movies ever, next to Tron. The Disney again when they were doing cutting edge shit. A great film, and should be celebrated. It's a fantastic movie. Go check that out if you've never seen it. There's a lot of options, tons of options of great sci-fi stuff that has good story at its heart. It might not be A+ Oscar level stuff, but it's stuff that you're going to enjoy. And that's the important part, is what do you enjoy? And there is no reason to suffer through Rebel Moon when there's great movies out there.
No, and my final synopsis on the whole thing is Rebel Moon doesn't know what it wants to be. It's a mishmash of a whole bunch of stuff just slammed together, including it's got, A New Hope, there's some Gladiator, there's some Harry Potter, there's Seven Samurai, or Magnificent Seven, or whatever trope you would rather that be, but
Mo wants a special edition. Are you talking about Topol the Smoker's tooth polish? I need some. I got like a smoker thing, kind of. Sometimes I have to like brush it real hard.
My suggestion is to avoid Rebel Moon, but you
I
know,
would.
you may like it. I've heard multiple people like BK likes it.
And if you like things,
BK liked it.
suck.
There was a few other people that really liked it, but most of those people that I've seen like it are like the Snyder bronies.
What is Topol? Sulky Ewok, what are you talking about?
Well, Topol is he's an actor. He's a man. He was famously in Fiddler on the Roof as the lead role.
Okay. Oh, I was thinking about maybe that commercial.
Less
in
famously,
the
but
80s.
I thought more a better role for him was in James Bond and for I think for your for Your Eyes Only.
I wasn't following the chat that good, and I saw that word. And I remember in the 80s, dude had like, for some reason, he always had like a pair of underwear, and and then he'd blow his smoke through the waistband, and he'd shout, he'd be brown, he'd go, see that ugly yellow tobacco stain? And then they'd sell you Topol, the smoker's toothpaste.
Oh, Snuggy says instead of Rebel Moon, watch Earth Girls Are Easy. Which
There
is like
you go.
Jim Carrey's first movie.
Instead of Rebel Moon, you could watch the second worst sci-fi effort. No, there's probably worse than that. The second one that I can immediately think of. Anyone remember this show in the 90s? It was called Space Precinct. It was a cop show, but it had like these aliens, these people in masks, and it was trying to just be like your normal cop show from the 90s or whatever. But it was called Space Precinct, and all the cops were aliens.
No, I do not recall that.
I do recall it.
There's a picture in my
overselling it.
in my Star Wars Fatal Fentanyl Fiasco cartoon, in the part where Boba Fett turns on the communicator and the space cops comes up. That's where those are from. And like I put that out a year or two ago, and nobody I've talked to on the entire earth knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Here we go, Sulky. He remembers it slightly.
Mo Biggs asks, so would you compare Rebel Moon to episode 1 of Ahsoka or to the rest of the series? Watchable or trash?
It's trash.
It's
trash.
trash.
Don't watch it. There's hundreds, literally hundreds of great B-level sci-fi movies that are worth more of your attention than this. In my opinion. What about you,
The only
Joe?
reason to watch this movie would be to, like, if somebody told you this movie was good or was going to be good and you wanted to go tell them, I told you so. That would be the only reason to watch. I told you this movie would suck. That would be the only reason I could think of to watch this movie.
It's bad. It's real bad.
You know that movie Super Bad? This is worse than that.
I actually like Super Bad.
Some of it is pretty good till the end.
Sequest DSV, I have not heard that brought up in years and years.
I kind of remember that. And there was another Cleopatra, had Pam Anderson in it, maybe, or maybe not. It was called Cleopatra 2525. 3 women have the will to survive. Was that or something like that? Is that what Sequest was? I remember there was like a cartoon and there was an old Sequest. But
No,
is this
Sequest,
like a 90s one?
Yeah, it's more of a 90s, and it had this one little blonde kid. I can't remember who he is, but he was like one of the upcoming budding kids from that era in it. And I don't even remember what it was about, but it was Sequest. Imagine Sequest. They were on submarines and shit underwater.
The talking dolphin. It was like underwater Star Trek. Yeah.
Jonathan Brandis, that's the kid.
Mo knows everything. I told you earlier, he knows everything. I doubt he just like Googles stuff.
He might just Google stuff. We don't know.
I know. Mo knows everything.
If he does Google stuff, he's the quickest Googler I've ever fucking met.
He's just a well. He knows everything.
Yeah, Sulky Walkie was in Ladybugs too.
Did we miss any chats from Mo or anybody else?
He says, I'm not saying the show was so bad he offed himself, but the timing adds up. I didn't know that he even offed himself.
Who, that kid?
Yeah.
If you were a kid on a show in the 80s or 90s, you're probably lucky to be alive and not in jail or therapy or something. You know, even poor Anakin Skywalker, like all them kids in the 80s or 90s.
Hey, we still got one of the two Corys.
Well, I don't even see her. If they're saying chats from only like my first. Okay, we'll scroll all the way up. Tell you what, Mo, I'll go through this chat. And I'll include all of your chats at the beginning of next week's show.
I want you to know, Mo, last week, it was 2 weeks ago, Steve was like, it was when we did the Reading Rebels first time. The week after.
Yeah, your comment, my favorite comment. I wish I would have seen it when we were live, Mo. Yeah, you're right. I missed good chats. It said,
I've never seen someone be so tone deaf, but yet so in tune with the crowd.
With his audience. That was awesome.
Steve does go back through and look. I don't think we have anything else.
Neve. Look, after I learned this, from now on, check it out. I like that better because I'm like gonna embrace my Celtic heritage. Is Sweden? Is that Celtic? That's where my grandma's from. Look, I'm gonna spell my name like this now.
Steam.
That says Steve. Say it, Steve. I'm right.
I'm not 100% sure of that.
No?
I don't know.
Get the fuck out of here.
You'd have to ask Caroline.
That's right? Maybe? Yeah, C-Lab. That was the one I was thinking of, that cartoon.
I also wanted to know that Steve does go through all the chats to look for Ask Steve questions. So you can drop them in here, and he will look for them and find them.
You guys are also funny. If I miss them, it's because I got attention deficit disorder. I smoke a lot of weed, and shit goes pretty fast sometimes, like topics, and I don't know. I'm working on it. I'll do better next time, though. Let's see. I'm kind of slow. Look how long it takes me just to find my outro. There we go.
He says Steve thinks he's Celtic ever since that time at the record store when all his boys called him Gaelic after what he did to that Poison album cover.
we'll just end with that. But, Celtic.
But Merry Christmas to all. Snuggy Jr., Sulky Ewok, Mo Biggs, Kiwi Skirt, Dana Marie, Scarlet Fever, Snuggy.
Here's one. Stay tuned, Snuggy. We might have to find out.
Ollie was here.
Felix.
Corey Barton was here. Sinatra. And thanks very much to our special guests, Jeremy Eisenmeyer and Aldous, and Michael Oden, who we had to kick before the stream started.
Sorry, that was loud as fuck for that. They're so crazy. Yeah, thanks to everybody. Join us next week. Back here.
Merry
on New Year's
Christmas,
Eve.
happy
Yeah.
holidays, and have a happy New Year.
Check out this part. It's pretty cool.
Mo says, Ogden, this was your most dynamic stream performance yet.